Okay, we are back for our top 10 most inspiring moments of the resistance of 2025. We want to end the year on a high note, so let's do this. We did the first five yesterday, now is the top five. Are you ready? The top five of 2025. All right, at number five, let's give a shout out to the courts. The courts have done so much heavy lifting for democracy in 2025 that they need to be acknowledged. Of the cases that Donald Trump had before the court, including the civil court, the district court, and the Supreme Court, he lost 93% of the time. 93% of the time. That's pretty close to 100. It got some wins. For example, the Supreme Court is letting ICE racially profile. But the majority of the cases, the Supreme Court stood up for democracy, including in cases where the judge was appointed by Trump himself. And this is so important because we've lost Congress. Congress is not a guardrail. The Republican-controlled Congress is the bootlickers of the president. So the one guardrail we have left standing are the courts. And we need to sort of shore them up and support them as they protect us from this fall into fascism. So courts are at number five. At number four, let's talk about the Disney boycott. That the Disney boycott that got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air was incredibly effective, showing the power of the purse. This is the way things work in capitalism. We learned in the 1960s that boycotts work, and we're learning it all over again, that the ability of people to speak with their dollars really changed things. And this is really important going forward, because if we could do this with this one little thing, this comedian that we like, we want him back on our TV set, so we're going to do this boycott, and it worked. What about a general strike in 2026? What about a boycott for democracy? What about a much wider economic action? So the Disney boycott is inspiring because it shows that that is possible. Number three, the blue wave in November. Oh my gosh, this was incredibly inspiring because not only did we see Democrats win in places that we expected to see Democrats win, we saw progressive Democrats in incredibly red states like Tennessee make huge gains. Just yesterday in Iowa, an African-American Democrat won in Iowa. In Iowa. And of course, the election of Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York City, a democratic socialist. Who'd have thunk that this was ever even possible? But it shows that when people are responding to economic imbalances and economic disempowerment in a progressive way, not in a hateful way, which is the Trump message, but when they respond economically in a progressive way, they can become empowered to see the change that they want to see. The election of Mamdani is hugely inspiring and shows us what we can do in November 2026 if we keep that momentum going. The blue wave is a huge one. Okay, at number two, it's kind of a personal one. Keeping the National Guard out of Portland, Oregon. This was so important because there was a narrative coming from the president that Portland was a war-torn hellscape, that the Antifa was burning down the city and all those crazy lies. This did not happen because the protesters front-loaded the value of nonviolence, that the protesters brought whimsy. So this is not just about the frogs and the chickens and the dancing unicorns, but this is everybody that was down there at the ICE facility and is down there right now as we speak, including indigenous people, trans women, all the people that said, that's not Portland, we're doing this with nonviolence, which was challenging at times because the MAGA counter-protesters have been pushing violence over and over. And if it weren't for the de-escalators, including some of our friends from the Quaker community down there, and the protesters themselves, we could have got something that looked like Fort Sumter, that spilled over to violence and was the pretext for the Second American Civil War. It did not happen because every single day, nonviolence was held up as a value by those protesters down at ICE. And that allowed a Trump-appointed judge to say, no, Trump, you're wrong. The National Guard should not be in Portland. I mean, it was just an incredibly tense moment there in the fall of 2025. I mean, for me, the moment will always be when MAGA counter-protesters were attacking the protesters, and I'm pulling them off of each other as the ICE officers up on the roof are shooting pepper balls into my back to break up the brawl. I mean, we were so close, but it didn't happen because we valued whimsy and nonviolence and kept it peaceful. So keep it going. Okay, number one. Number one is a big one, and it's big for reasons that you know and reasons that you might not know, which are the No Kings marches. The No Kings marches that brought out millions of Americans, right? So it's important, and it's number one because millions of Americans saying, not in our town, Trump, we're not going to have kings or fascists or dictators in our country. That's important. But also, these marches and rallies happened in places you wouldn't expect. Yeah, Portland, we were huge here, but they were in red states, they were in rural areas, they were in places that you would not expect progressive people to be marching in the streets. And it gave a permission structure for people who aren't normally political to come out, including some Trump voters, including people coming out and saying, look, I didn't vote for this. I'm going to be a part of this new social movement. So that momentum is very important. But also, and this is me as a sociologist speaking, fascism requires people to feel isolated, to feel alone. And then fascism steps in to fill that void for people. And they're like, oh, I have something to believe in. We're filling that void ourselves. We're filling that void with a progressive pro-democracy movement. And it's not just at marches. People are coming out and gathering in coffee shops, after school events, and community centers, and their churches and synagogues. I mean, people are coming together to build this community capacity, and that prevents fascism from being able to sink its teeth into us. That we are building this community basis that says, instead of just me being on my phone, I'm talking to my neighbor, and like, what are we going to do about this? We are building this thing that will keep us out of the depths of despotism in 2026, but we got to keep it going. No Kings, number one. Okay, that's my top 10. I'd love to know what's on your list of most inspiring moments. I want to throw one extra one in there, which is to all the people on social media who are healthcare workers, who are professionals, especially studying elder care and things like that, who have been predicting that based on what they can view from their perspective, that Donald Trump will not survive 2026, looking at his hands and his speech patterns and think that he's not long for this world. I'd like to thank all of you for giving me hope that there is a world after Trump, and it may be coming very soon. All right, I'd like to end the year with the hugely inspiring words of American bard Taylor Swift. Before each of her Eras concerts, she would gather her dancers and band together to offer this chant/prayer, and I'm going to share it with you as we go forward into 2026. Are you ready? It goes like this. Let's fuck shit up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, yay! Happy New Year, and welcome to the Resistance.